So this is issue 38 of Build the Spitfire, and we're going to be assembling and fitting the right wing flap.
For those who fought in the Battle of Britain, it was a battle for survival. For the free world, it was a breathless moment in history. For failure would have plunged mankind into a new dark age. Never have so many owed so much to so few.
Welcome to stage 38 of the Build the Spitfire Mk1a, and in this issue we're going to be assembling and fitting the right aileron. So as always, let's do a part check. This is the same pretty much as issue 37, except that one part is a different colour and they're just kind of a different shape. So part 38.1, we have the right aileron upper panel. I hope I'm saying this right, I have been practicing. Part 2 is the right aileron lower panel, and I really love these little details here. I don't know if it's going to come into focus. There we go. Really well detailed, really happy with these parts. Now part 3 is the right aileron hinge marked 8. I find that quite interesting because last week they were marked 1 and 2. This week they're marked 8 and 7. So there's the part that's marked 8. There we go. And piece 4 is the same thing, but it's marked 7. And then we have 2 hinge pins, and just like last week I'm going to tip those into this container, and there's a nice little slot there where the hinge pins came from. So we've got to be careful with these because they're small fiddly parts and we don't get any spares, unlike the screws, which we have got 5 PB 1.7 by 3mm screws, which I will pop into the other side for the hinge pins. Sorry, the hinge. Sorry, just get that out of the way. Right, so let's press on, and there's an awful lot of static. I've got this piece of plastic sticking to me today. So we'll begin stage 1. So we need to get one of these, this is the hinge pin number 3, which is marked with an 8, and we will get one of these hinge pins, and we'll just pop that through this hole there, just like we did in the previous episode. And don't worry about getting these central, we'll get them lined up later on. And then stage 2 we do the same thing, but for the hinge, the hinge, which is marked 7. Sorry, I've lost my words there. So just lost the hinge pin. So I'm telling everyone to be really careful, and I managed to lose my hinge pin. So let me pause the video while I find it. Okay, so I've just found it. It actually went underneath the arm or the leg of one of my cameras. So holding it steady, we're going to pop this into the hinge there, just like we did in the previous stage, and we did twice in the previous issue. So they're ready. So what we want to do now is get piece number 1, and that's the piece with the camouflage pattern on it. And what we're going to be doing is placing those hinges there. You see a little recess with a rounded bit there, and another one there. So as we bring it up, we can get this roughly centered, and this part of the hinge, the middle piece, is going into that little notch there, and that can go into there. Make sure that's the correct way round. So that's actually the wrong way round. We must make sure that there's a number showing, and I've actually done this in the wrong order. I did place it in the right place, but I did it in the wrong order. So this one, piece 4, with a number 7 pointing upwards, is going to go into this one there, like that. And then the piece with number 8, this is stage 4, is going to go into this one there. and this is roughly what you should what it should look like. So stage 5, we need to pop piece number 2, which is the the up. It's interesting, they call this the underside. So you've got 6 pins, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and they will match up with the 6 pins there. Sorry, this has come out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I like to do a dry fit first, so we'll line that up, and that's gone in absolutely fine. So I think I see that hinge has come out. So this is what it'll look like with a dry fit, so we know everything's going to work fine. So now we need to carefully remove this. It is actually a rather good fit, so it's quite difficult to remove, but that's good though, because as we glue we know everything will fit fine. Now last time we had a bit of an issue there, it did come out there. So what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to put a tiny dab of glue just on that corner, and I'm going to be a bit brave today, and I'm actually going to apply the glue directly. I think I can get away with not using a cocktail stick, and all of this bit is going to be inside, so if we splodge a bit too much, I think we'll get away with it. Obviously we want to put a fairly precise amount of glue on, and then I just touch that corner as well. So like I say, that's where we had a bit of an issue last week. So, and then we need to work fairly sharpish. We don't have to be supersonic speed, but we can't be slow, and that's gone in absolutely fine. What I'll do is I'll hold that down for about 5 seconds, and that's glued in rather nicely. Very happy with that. So there's our aileron. Okay, so I'm going to pause the filming now, and I'm going to bring in the Spitfire, and then we'll fit that onto the main wing. So this is our main wing coming into place, and there's the aileron that we did last week. And what we're going to do this week is we're going to pop one onto this side. So I'll just move my camera just to make it a bit easier for you. So we want camouflage size up, and we're looking for this point there and this point there, and we're going to balance that onto there like so. And now last week I did just tape this with masking tape. I used 2 pieces, and I think 2 pieces maybe was a little bit of an overkill. So what I'm going to do this week, I'm just going to put the 1 piece on, and that way if I accidentally knock it, you see I've got to knock that quite hard to knock that off. It's only on loose, but it just means that we've got that little bit of security while we pop that on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take our, well, it says in the magazine PM2x2 screws, which is exactly what it said last week, but they are actually PB 1.7 by 3 mil screws. So they're 1.7 millimeters wide and they're 3 millimeters long. So I'm just going to manipulate that hinge a little bit, make sure the holes are lined up, and I'm just going to pop that in until it bites. Then I'm going to put the opposite outside screw on. So again, we'll just manipulate that. Oops, screws comes a bit loose there. So we're just going to pop that screw into there, and that's on. So that's on just enough to bite, and I think we can now remove our masking tape. So this masking tape is just acted as a third hand. So that can go in the bin. So now we've got our 2 main screws just very loose, as you can see. It just enables us to see if it's fitting correctly. So we can have a move, and I think that's all in place perfect. So what we'll do now is we'll finish putting the screws in just enough to bite, and whoops, right, so that's a bit loose. That's fine because we haven't put the screws in fully. And then we will pop this fourth screw in, just get that lined up, and if all's gone well this will line up, which it has done. So what we'll do now is we'll have a little look underneath. Does it look like it's fitting? Yes, it does. It's a bit loose where I've only put it on enough to bite, but you see the writing is all the same way up, which it should be, just like this one is, and that's absolutely fine. So I will just proceed a little bit further, and what I'll do is I'll tighten this first screw up fully, and because we're screwing into plastic, we can let the screw tell us when it's time to stop, because the resistance will increase. Third screw, there we go, and then the fourth one. Okay, that's perfect. So we'll have a look at this hinge. That's not moving, that's not moving. It is lifting up a bit there, just like on the other side, and that's because the actual inner wing. I'm confident that once we've got the top wing on, that will clamp that down. So let's have a little flip over. I'm very happy with that, and as I explained last issue, these are meant to be different colours. This is all part of the interpretation of the instructions as they came from the top all the way down to squadron level. So that's it then, guys. That is the completed issue. Now if you're a subscriber like myself, this is also the last issue of the pack of 4 that we get. So all we really know is that next week we'll get parts to hold optical fibres for the machine guns in the wings, and I wonder if that's got anything to do with these little channels and things. I did speculate last week that I think we're going to be doing a lot of work on the wings over the next couple of weeks or few weeks, maybe even a few months. Excuse me. And then obviously once we've done the wings, I think we'll then start to move back. So yeah, parts to hold the optical fibres for the machine guns in the wings. It sounds to me like lots more work coming on the wings. So remember, this is where most of the action is. Obviously the tail and the fuselage doesn't do that much. All the main focus is in the engine and what's in the wings. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye bye, and stay safe.